Cheers, guys. Epix911, welcome to the Elitist Geek. In this video, I want to do a small follow-up to my previous video dealing with the new Nintendo 3DS. There were a couple of things I got messaged on that I forgot to mention, so I'm gonna talk about those. I also want to talk about 2015, the year ahead. I know I've kind of dropped some hints, you know, a few videos ago about this being the year of the RPG, but let's actually take a look at some of these titles and dig into those, and you'll see exactly how awesome 2015 is shaking up to be in the RPG department for the Nintendo 3DS. So back to what I didn't cover in the previous video. So on the older 3DS XL, your SD card was stored with a removable, there's a removable faceplate, right, just next to your stylus and the front of the unit where you can put a wrist strap. All right, and inside it's a full SD card. All right, what do I have here? So I have an 8 GB card in here. So I'm going to just put that back. One of the things, if you haven't been paying attention and doing your research, that you're going to notice right away with the new 3DS is there is no SD slot. Well, at least it's not visible. There is actually a SD card slot, however, and that is behind the bottom plate. So you've got two 0-size Phillips screws, and that's a super tiny screwdriver. So if you can see here, thankfully, if I can hold it right up, is it going to focus? Of course it won't because my mug is in the picture, but it's basically Type 0 is what the 3DS uses, which is not a bad thing because it could have been worse. It could have been some god-awful proprietary crazy wing screw that I've seen in the past that are a pain in the ass to unscrew. 0 size, it's smaller than your standard tool set, but really for electronics and things and watch repairs, it kind of straddles in between. It's not the smallest size they could have gone, so that's a good thing. It wasn't particularly difficult to remove the plate. In fact, I was worried because I've had this also in the past that with smaller screwdrivers, it's easy to put a lot of torque onto a screw, and if they're really small size, it's really easy to strip those screws, right? And I was pleasantly surprised to see that both screws, and there's just 2 here, were really not tightened more than you know, a mild hand tightening, enough to hold it in place, but nowhere near concern about stripping. It was just a small counterclockwise turn, and I was able to, you know, grip and turn. So you take the 2 faceplates off, and I'm actually going to do that here. There's no reason I shouldn't. Like I said, they're not threaded or they're not stripped. And when I tighten the back up, I didn't go crazy. So let's open this. And there's 2 little thumb grooves that you can see, put your thumbnail into, and then it comes off super easy. So underneath here, so this is the faceplate, and then underneath here you can see what I didn't really cover in the last video. I did talk about the battery, and you can see that's right here, and it is a 3.7 volt 1750 milliamp battery. So the good news is you're going to be able to replace them en masse. The bad news is it's not a huge improvement over the old one. Like I said, it's about 30 minutes. You know what? I ran some tests again, and this time my results were actually within minutes on each unit. So, and given that my old 3DS is probably not holding as much charge, I would be willing to say that they're probably realistically, as far as you're concerned, on par. Not the 30 minutes that a lot of sites, including myself, initially advertised. The other thing you're going to notice is on the old 3DS XL, I showed you it was a full-size SD card. Well, this time around, and I'm not going to pull it out, but you can see it's actually a micro SD card. I replaced the 4 gig card that was in here, which I still have here, and there it is on the bottom. I don't know if you can see the name brand, but anyways, not surprisingly, it was a Japanese company, Toshiba. But yeah, it was a Micro SDHC 4 gigabyte FAT file allocation table. So the actual FAT 32 is what it used. That's important because the new Nintendo 3DS XL or even the base unit don't support beyond 32 gigabytes. So if you're using, you know, NTFS or exFAT, I think it is, for extended larger partitions than 32 gig, the new Nintendo 3DS XL is not going to detect that. So another reason why I got the 32 gig, it is the maximum. The only digital game that I have right now is Pokemon Y. And that was only because it was sold out. For some reason, I'm still super old-fashioned. As you can see here, I like physical cartridges, you know, just to collect if anything else. But you can see here, you know, I've got pretty much, as far as I'm concerned, all the awesome titles that have come out so far. Yeah, the majority are strategy and RPG, but those are the genres I like best, right? And then likewise, I've got, you know, for Nintendo DS, some of the better games as well. I think 20 some odd games. So that's, you know, that's something I forgot in the previous video. So pretty easy to do, and I advise when you put the faceplate back on, I'm going to go ahead and do that, that you do not tighten it too much. So just, you know, like you found it, except this time you're going to go clockwise to tighten it. Just go until you feel that resistance and then stop. That's what I would recommend. That way, you know Nico is going to release that battery extender. And now I won't have to sacrifice Circle Pad Pro and pick one or the other. Because of that analog nub, I can now benefit from Nico's battery expander, which will be awesome. And I imagine it's going to involve removing this faceplate and mounting their version, which will, you know, increase the size footprint. But you know, if it's what I suspect, a battery that's going to double the life from 5 to 10 hours, I got no problem with the aesthetics being slightly larger, or the weight for that matter. It's fine. So there you have it. That's just a quick update on the 3DS. Oh, actually, one more thing was I didn't talk about the wireless. So the wireless now, and let's see if I just go to the home section here, and we'll just go to the initial menu. You can actually see it here. So wireless communication, there you go, is actually a software option now. It's no longer a hardware option. So I like that because honestly, most of the time you're just going to leave it on anyways, right? So that was the other big difference that I forgot about. Some cool features I've discovered after that I didn't know about at the time of this was the ability to watch YouTube videos in 3D. It doesn't sound like much, and I'll be the first to admit, for the most part, 3D is a huge gimmick. And while I'm all about the Oculus Rift, true immersive, you know, virtual reality style 3D, for the most part, 3D TVs and 3D monitors, you know, via NVIDIA through their method, or buying a Samsung 3D TV, that no appeal whatsoever. It's gimmicky, right? I'm not even a huge fan of watching a movie 3D like The Hobbit. And I've made that mistake a few times where you go into the theater, you get the glasses, and I don't, you know, I'd rather just watch it without all that distraction. The 3D on the new 3DS, however, is a whole different ball game. Unlike movies where you're, you know, sitting there via passive entertainment, it's just being received, you can interact with a console. And I think that makes the 3D so much more meaningful in terms of being an interactive experience, right? But it's also something you're going to keep on now because it actually is pretty damn stable. But even watching something as simple as a YouTube video in 3D, it's actually pretty cool. And it's slightly above gimmicky, that part of it. Still kind of not completely sold, but a neat approach, seeing the YouTube stuff in 3D. But honestly, I've gone back to games, Star Fox, Mario 3D, to name a few, and beat the game again just because now I can actually play it through with the full 3D effect. And let me tell you, it is a different experience. It makes for a better experience. So there you have it. There's that. And what I'm actually going to do is I'll separate this video and end it here, and then I'll create a new video where I talk about some of the upcoming games. I want to kind of keep each video around the 10-minute mark when it's stuff like this, so you're not having to listen to the diatribe all the way through. So there you have it. If I still have missed some things, which knowing me, I probably have, let me know in the comments below, and I'll be sure to add them in a future update, which I'll obviously wait a while on, because if there's one thing I've missed, it's a good bet I've missed 2 or 3 additional. So there you have it. Leave your comments behind if you have any additional questions or things to point out. Subscribe if you like this video and videos like this. I don't have a regular posting schedule, but when I see cool things or experience cool things that I deem are video worthy, I produce a video. So there you have it. As always, guys, cheers. Till next time.